Hey everyone, welcome back to BookShortz, the place where books explode to life in just minutes. Today we're diving into one of the wildest, most unpredictable stories you'll ever hear. It's violent, it's hilarious, it's revolutionary. This is the Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook by Matt Dinniman. And trust me, once you're in, you won't want out. If you love crazy worlds, brutal action, overpowered cats, and a main character who flips the system the bird, then you're in for a wild ride. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, join our growing tribe of story lovers. We break down the most mind-blowing books, so you don't have to miss a single epic tale. Now buckle up, this one's not just a dungeon crawl, it's an all-out war for freedom. Let's get into it. Imagine being yanked out of your apartment mid-lunch and thrown into a nightmarish game show filled with bloodthirsty monsters, sadistic rules, and an audience of intergalactic viewers hungry for carnage. That's exactly what happens to Carl, an ordinary man turned reluctant gladiator in the Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook, the explosive sequel to Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. But this time, Carl isn't just trying to survive, he's ready to burn the whole system down. The book opens with the aftermath of the first crawler floor. Carl has proven he's not only a survivor but a crowd favorite. He's bruised, broken, and blood-stained. But he's gained the attention of the galactic viewers who treat the deadly dungeon crawl like the Super Bowl. With his ever-faithful cat princess Donut by his side, a snarky, overpowered feline with royal delusions, and a taste for murder, Carl now enters the second level of the dungeon. And this level is unlike anything he's faced before. Level 2 is a bureaucratic nightmare. It's not just monsters and traps. Now there are taxes, permits, dungeon lords who demand bribes, and strange rules that seem designed to frustrate and distract. Carl quickly realizes that the real enemy isn't always a beast with horns. It's a system designed to crush the soul. Everything costs something. Healing potions, food, even standing still too long can drain resources. It's a capitalist hellscape disguised as a dungeon. And that's where Carl begins to hatch a plan, not just to win, but to tear down the entire dungeon infrastructure from the inside. Enter the Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook, not just a title, but an actual book Carl discovers within the game. It's a relic outlawed by the dungeon overlords, filled with radical ideas about breaking the rules, cheating the system, and rewriting the very laws of the dungeon crawl. This book becomes Carl's blueprint for rebellion. It's a manifesto, a guide to thinking differently in a world that demands conformity. And for Carl, it's a weapon more powerful than any enchanted sword. As Carl delves deeper into the dungeon, we see the layers of this twisted game unravel. The dungeon isn't just a challenge, it's a spectacle engineered to exploit, entertain, and erase. The crawlers are players, but they're also prisoners. And the audience? They're not rooting for heroes. They're addicted to violence, obsessed with novelty, and always hungry for blood. In this world, morality is optional and chaos is currency. Carl's journey in this second installment is less about survival and more about subversion. He's still battling monsters, ghoulish goblins, eldritch horrors, and absurdly dangerous challenges. But his real fight is against the system itself. With each floor, he gathers knowledge, allies, and strategies. He begins bending the rules, finding exploits, testing the boundaries of what's allowed. And all the while, the galaxy watches. Donut remains an unforgettable presence. She's hilarious, vicious, and totally unpredictable. While Carl is reading manifestos and rallying rebels, Donut is racking up kills, collecting loot, and acting like she's the star of her own interstellar drama. Their banter is gold. It keeps the tone sharp, and the story constantly moving. But Donut's not just comic relief. She's evolving too. As the stakes get higher, we see glimpses of her loyalty, her cleverness, and even her heart. What makes the Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook so gripping is that it doesn't settle into a single genre. It's dystopian sci-fi meets dark comedy, meets hardcore LitRPG. Dinniman weaves brutal action with biting satire. One minute you're laughing at Donut's diva antics, and the next you're wincing as Carl fights off a horror with his bare hands. The pacing is relentless. There are no lulls, only moments of tension that build until something explodes, literally or metaphorically. Carl's transformation from reluctant contestant to revolutionary is at the heart of this book. He starts to understand that the dungeon is a machine and machines can be broken, but doing so comes with a cost. The more he pushes, the more attention he draws, not just from the audience, but from the administrators, the enforcers, and the mysterious powers behind the game. They don't want change. They want blood, ratings, and order. Carl is a threat to all three. One of the most compelling elements of the story is how it explores the idea of resistance. Carl isn't a hero in the traditional sense. He's messy, angry, sarcastic, and sometimes downright brutal. But he's also smart, principled, and driven by a growing sense of justice. He sees how the dungeon consumes people, turns them into killers or corpses, and he refuses to play along. His rebellion isn't grand or noble at first. It's small acts, tiny revolutions, but they build. And soon Carl isn't just a crawler. He's a symbol. The cookbook itself is more than a metaphor. It's filled with forbidden knowledge, hacks, glitches, ideas that defy the dungeon's logic. As Carl begins to apply what he learns, he starts reshaping the very environment around him. Traps become tools, enemies become allies, rules become suggestions. He's not just playing the game, he's rewriting it. As the story progresses, the tension ratchets up. Carl begins to attract a following. Other crawlers, once solo operators, start watching him, mimicking him, even rallying behind him. The administrators respond with increasing hostility. They unleash new horrors, alter the dungeon rules mid-game, and target Carl with brutal precision. But Carl isn't backing down. With Donut, his allies, and the anarchist ideas guiding him, he's more dangerous than ever. By the time the book reaches its climax, the dungeon feels less like a game and more like a war zone. The action is ferocious. The stakes are higher than ever. And Carl's choices carry real weight. He's not just fighting to live, he's fighting to change everything. The final chapters are a whirlwind of combat, chaos, and confrontation. And through it all, Carl clings to the one thing the dungeon can't strip away: his defiance. Matt Dinniman's writing is razor sharp. He knows how to balance humor with horror, action with philosophy. His world is grotesque and vivid, a mashup of the absurd and the terrifying. But beneath the blood and madness, there's a story about resistance, about questioning authority, about the power of one person to spark a movement. It's not just about surviving the dungeon, it's about breaking it. The Dungeon Anarchists Cookbook is a blistering, brilliant sequel that expands the scope of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series in every way. It's more than just a ride, it's a revolution. Whether you're a fan of LitRPGs, dystopian thrillers, or stories of rebellion, this book delivers. Carl is the anti-hero you didn't know you needed. Donut is the cat you'll never forget. And the dungeon? It's the system we all recognize, pushed to the extreme. If you're ready to laugh, gasp, and cheer for chaos, then this book isn't just for you. It's a manifesto. Read it. Share it. And remember, the only way to win may be to play dirty, fight smart, and light the whole thing on fire. This war is just beginning. Link in description.